Hey there, Internet. How you doing? This is your buddy Jeff here to tell you that there's actually a podcast you should be donating to your money to. That is actually the After Credits cast on evac Station. And I hear they have an excellent Patreon you should go to. Link might be in the description. That's what they told me. I don't know where the guy went to. But yeah, I would appreciate if you did that. And I'm going to go sit back and watch this movie with these boys. I'll see you after the credits.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. And of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten.
You wanted to know who I am?
Hello, Internet, and welcome to the After Credits cast. I lost my page for the intro, but give me a second here, and I will find it. There we go. I, too, like to blare my Led Zeppelin while doing cool things. I just need to do cool things. With me today, I have the Grand Metters right here.
Yes! I approve of this.
There was no better name for you, sir.
I wholeheartedly approve of that.
I am, of course, the Air Executioner, because there's literally no good name for Aaron here today. And with us back for revenge is Robbie Nella. How you doing, Rob?
I am doing well, my friend. I am stoked to be on here for week number 2 with you guys. I had a great time last week with Spider-Man, and I can't wait to Hulk motherfucking smash this podcast.
Dude, it's going to be fun. We're really glad to have you back, actually. We had so much fun with you last week. Couldn't resist having you back again.
Yeah.
And of course, you're always welcome to. All of our guests are welcome to come back. It's a party here. We got to have everyone here. So yes, as Jeff introduced, there is a Patreon. You should go and check that out in the description down below. Also, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Forgot it last week. We have a poll in the description down below. We may do more movies after the Infinity War, but we don't know what to do yet. Right, Ryan? We're stupid. We have no idea what movies to do.
Yeah, I have no ideas. Zero ideas.
So if you want to help us on our creative slump, go down to the description, click that link, and it'll give you a list of movies you can vote for, or you can even suggest one of your own. Just go ahead and do that in the description down below on all of the platforms we're going to. We would love to hear input as to what you want to see us do next, whether it's Nick Cage, M. Night Shyamalan, Pixar. The other one I mentioned was, the anime movies. Miyazaki. Yeah, Miyazaki films, thank you. So yeah, vote on those, and we would love to hear your feedback.
We would love to hear from you, period. Sorry.
I know.
I'm lonely. I'm lonely.
I also want to point out, too, that I know for sure we're probably going to do our favorite movies like right after the MCU, just to give us kind of a breather. I already know which one I'm picking. I don't know what Ryan's going to pick yet, but we got our 2 for that.
Still deciding.
We will be posting up a movie review we did. Actually, well before we started this podcast series. It's the Space Jam episode we recorded in Yes, Ryan. It's a podcast recorded way back in August last year. I spent some time
Come
cleaning it
on
up.
and slam! Sorry.
Yep. That'll be going up as a special treat for everybody. It has all of the original evac station crew, so be sure to listen for Nicole, Aaron, Max, and even Amanda will be there a little bit, so that'll be fun. And, yeah, I think that's everything. Do I have anything else? I already did Patreon, actual intro. Yep, I got everything. So with that, boys, how you doing this week?
Doing great.
I am doing, pretty damn good. Pretty good. I'm excited for Friday. I'm gonna get off of work an hour early and go directly to GameStop to grab God of War.
Me
and,
too.
Lose myself in some Norse mythology real quick.
How interesting! We're talking about a Nordic movie, and you got a Nordic game coming out. That's great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
I'm stoked for that too, man.
I would be getting it, but I'm still in the middle of Near a Tomato, so...
Please continue to play that shit. I need to talk to people about it. It made me cry. It made me cry.
If it helps, Ryan, I am actually at the castle area, like right after I've gotten fast travel. I went over there, so I'm doing pretty good right now. I've got some side quests done, leveling up. It's fun. It's pretty fun.
Yes. Is this the first playthrough?
Oh yeah, I'm taking my time because I got so much other shit I'm doing. So
yeah, no, it's real. You're gonna have to play through it like 3 to 5 times, but it'll be good.
I know. And then for those listening, this is the week actually that Infinity War comes out when this episode comes out. Actually, I think same day. So yeah, we'll be talking about Infinity War not next week because next week is Black Panther. Even though we talked about that in several podcasts already, and then after that we'll be doing Infinity War. So just keep your dial. Don't turn that dial. Just listen. We'll be back with that Infinity War real soon. Speaking of movies, boys, I have some stats for you. You guys ready?
Let it rip.
All right. Thor Ragnarok was released November 3rd of 2017, not that long ago. The director is Taika Waititi. The writers are Eric Pearson, Craig Kyle, and Christopher Yost, but I'll get back to the writers here in a minute. It stars some of your favorites, and I know one of mine, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Kate Blanchett, who chews the scenery really good, Jeff Goldblum, who is miraculous, Tessa Thompson, who does a great job in her first outing here, Carl Urban, hot off the press from, I want to say he recently did that, what's the movie they redid recently? Judge Dredd. Mm-hmm. Let's see, Anthony Hopkins comes back for a little bit. Tom Hiddleston, of course. Idris Elba and Benedict Cumberbatch gets a small little role in here that's always fun to watch.
Nice.
The opening box office numbers, we have 122,744,000. We have a domestic total of 315,058,000, which I just updated a little bit ago. And lastly, the worldwide total, which I also recently updated, is currently sitting at 853,971,000. I do believe it's out of theaters, though, so it should not update anymore. This puts it actually... Now I need to go back and make sure the ranking's still correct, but I do believe it's still number 8 of the MCU. Oh, wait, is that worldwide or MCU? I gotta double check. I wrote down 2017 is number 8. That one didn't change. It's right after It, and right above Despicable Me 3.
Nice.
I forget there's 3 of those movies. I really do.
Despicable Me 3. I still haven't seen Despicable Me 3.
I haven't either.
Love the first 2. I love the first 2.
And then its ranking in the MCU, it has not changed. It is actually still number 10, right after Iron Man.
This makes sense. I'm sorry.
Ryan's got words.
I'm foreshadowing. My bad.
This is gonna be a fun day.
I feel like this is gonna be the most what do you call it? The most divisive we're gonna be this time for a while. I think Civil War's the last one. This is gonna rival that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that, let us begin. I have a breakdown for you boys, and I scrambled to write this one up because I forgot to do it until yesterday.
I bet it's still good, man.
Oh, I think so. All right, you guys ready?
You bet.
Yes, sir.
We begin our adventure with our hero face-to-face with the final boss of Diablo, where you'd expect our movie to traditionally end. Thor instead spits in the face of tradition and has a fight scene where the camera is actually zoomed out far enough to see what the fuck he's doing for once. Diablo summons Dark Souls Dragon to finish the job, seconds before he loses his head, and the dragon soon after. Thor returns to Asgard to see the Ember Island players give a completely accurate recreation of Thor Dark World as directed by Loki as Odin. Seeing through his tricks, Thor ousts Loki and insists they return Odin to the throne. Sadly, Odin is dying of and his death releases the third child who is only now relevant, Hela, the goddess of death. This horny Hellcat is out for the blood of everyone. She returns to Asgard with some aggressive negotiations while trapping the Super Odinson brothers on Planet Hulk. She kills the Warriors 3 and effectively renders the prior 2 films obsolete in her soft reboot powers. She uses the power of the first flame, and she ushers in the Age of Fire, which gives rise to the undead and the Great Grey Wolf Sif. I may have been mixing mythologies there for a moment.
Oh my god, this it's Dark Souls, why? I'm sorry.
She's basically Dark Souls the character.
It's Dark Souls the character, Jesus Christ, you're right.
Thor finds himself on the dumpster planet that is Sakaar, a planet ruled by the Grand Goldbloom, taken in by Valkyrie, I'm going to call her Val, to fight in a gladiator death battle! Thor briefly reunites with Loki, who plays dumb to knowing his brother. Tossed to the dregs, Thor meets Rockman, played by the director, and Edward Scissorbug, our requisite joke characters for the evening. They tell Thor about the obvious gladiator vibe before Loki ghosts himself into the room to offer Thor a deal that he's already gonna refuse. Val's revealed to be a former Asgardian Valkyrie, as Thor enters the arena and gets a haircut. His opponent, the Incredible Hulk, shows up, and they fight. Thor seems to have awakened his avatar powers before passing out. Scene transition. He wakes up in Hulk's room to see Hulk's Wayne and tells him he needs to help to escape and save Asgard. Hulk, unfortunately, is kind of the king of the castle here and has no desire to really leave. Hulk does help him escape, and Thor returns to the Quinjet Hulk rode in on in Avengers Age of Ultron. Whew, mouthful there. Attempting to get it running again. He is, however, followed by Hulk, who doesn't seem to understand Thor's problem. But a Deus Ex Natasha reverts Hulk to Banner, who hasn't seen sunlight in about 2 years. A little freaked out, Thor convinces Bruce to help him because he really liked Bruce better anyway, but not really. The Grand Goldblum puts a bounty on their head because his prize champion, Hulk, is missing. Val and Loki are sent to search, but Loki is being used as a bargaining chip, so Val convinces Thor to come peacefully. Thor calls out to Heimdall, who basically tells him to go through a big wormhole called the Devil's Anus. But only a sufficiently designed ship can survive the transport. Thus, they need to devise a plan to steal a ship. They start a revolution on Sakaar as a distraction. After a bonding moment with Loki, who intends to betray Thor, he wises up and decides he will see through his trickery and pulls a reversal. Thor, Bruce, and Val have an epic chase scene on their way out to the Anus, and takes them to Asgard, where Hela has begun plans to taking over the 9 realms. Almost to the end here, boys. As it turns out, Odin hasn't always been a cool dude, as revealed by Hela's defacing the ceiling. Thor openly acknowledges Odin's deceit, but knows that Hela can't actually have the throne anyway because she's rigged the primaries, almost killing Thor and Loki. Heimdall leads the people to transport. Transport is blocked by skeletons who support Helldog. Bruce hilariously turns into the Hulk, and the final battle ensues with even more Zeppelin. Loki enters with the flair of a WWE superstar and saves the day by throwing Surtur's toupee into the flame that allows him to kickstart Ragnarok, and grabbing a little MacGuffin for himself along the way. Hela is forced to fight Surtur and his sexist slurs if she wants Asgard to remain in one piece. Allowing Thor in this whole scuffle allows Thor and the others to part the waves and lead their people to safety, while their home planet is destroyed. Oh, and it's gone. Plans are made to go back to Earth, but everything changes when a mysterious ship jumps in from behind, and it's about to start all sorts of wars ad infinitum, you might say. And the revolution is a success. Everyone, pat yourselves in the back. Good movie. Only 2 left. Bravo.
Well done, sir.
I try.
Oh, Dark Souls, Hela. I'm dead.
It
hurts me, but it's so good.
I had a lot of fun with this movie, and actually a lot more fun making the synopsis than I thought it would.
Oh yeah.
All right, so as tradition, boys, I'm turning it to you. What do y'all think of this movie? And I know we usually start with our guests, so Robbie, how about you take us home? What do you got?
Well, I had a great time with this movie. You know, it was. I think they took a page out of the Guardians of the Galaxy playbook and make a fun, like space-like adventure with awesome music, colors, just a lot of fun, goofy jokes. So it's a fun time. I do have criticisms, which we'll get to later. But Thor is my second favorite Marvel hero behind Spider-Man. So I was obviously amped for this movie, and I'm a big Planet Hulk guy. So I like their fun take on that. And I mean, come on, Jeff Goldblum's the fucking man. So he's just basically being himself with a little soul patch, and I loved it.
All hail.
It's so damn funny, and like I like that they gave Hulk more dialogue.
I actually saw an interesting theory about that, where because Hulk was actually allowed to be out of the main body for 2 years, his vocabulary extended to that of a 2-year-old, so he's actually able to talk. It was still childish, but he was able to talk. I thought that was a really cool take on the idea.
Yeah, and that actually kind of makes sense. I like the chemistry between Thor and Hulk. Like, it's just fun, and like, who's the strongest Avenger, and like having to play on that, which is cool.
Clearly, it's Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I enjoyed.
No, like once Strange trains Wanda, then it's Wanda.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was fun at the beginning of the movie too with Doctor Strange. Like just a fun little cameo, and I love Benedict in that role, which I know you guys talked about in your Doctor Strange podcast. Let's see, as well as like the end fight scene. Surtur like blowing up Asgard was awesome. Fenris, I think, is the name of the wolf. Is that how you say it, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Him fighting Hulk, I was flexing the whole time. I was so amped. I'm like, fuck yes. And even though this will be a criticism later, Scourge coming out and like saving the day with his 2 guns was pretty badass too. So the reason I say criticism is that the Executioner is always a bad guy in my opinion, but that's not here or there. Carl Urban killed it though. I love Carl Urban, so that was cool.
I've yet to see a bad Carl Urban performance, so I'm hoping he keeps that going.
Yeah, me too. So I guess those are some of my positive thoughts on that. What did you think, Ryan?
Okay. No. I will preface my later criticisms, because we do good things first, bad things second. But this movie was a lot of fun. This movie was a lot of fun. I know that the earlier iterations of Thor, they've been struggling to really kind of find their footing, and initially when I saw that essentially we were just going to do Guardians of the Galaxy version of Thor, I was a little worried, but then I saw a little bit more of it and I was very excited. And then I actually got to see the movie, and I mean, they definitely upped the fun factor of the movie. Jeff Goldblum is blameless in my eyes, and the man can do no wrong. So every time he graced my screen with his presence, my day was made better.
Just wait till we get to the favorites. I got a good movie for that one.
So, I mean, Jeff Goldblum's fantastic. Truth be told, this is the movie that really sold me on Loki. I mean, I loved him in Dark World, and they got to let him be a little more snarky and ridiculous. And this one, they turned that up to 11.
Yes.
So I was also enjoying Loki a lot. Throughout the whole course of the movie. So that was fantastic. Yes. All in all, and Valkyrie. I absolutely love what they did with Valkyrie.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She was fantastic. Tessa Thompson is just insane. I mean, she's
really
great.
hope they find more for her to do.
Fantastic actress, and I really like Tessa Thompson. I really like. Anyway,
if they don't continue with if they don't continue with Thor movies, I really hope they find something for her to do, because I think throwing away her character would be a huge crime. She's a lot of fun.
No, yeah, no, she's gonna be here for a minute, I think.
Yeah, I think they're gonna utilize her, because this was definitely a breakout role.
All right. So I got some bullet points, because I'm gonna tell you guys something funny here. Most of the movies we've done, I tend to have a pretty good balance of pro and cons. This movie actually has more pros for me than cons, which is surprising. Like, I thought I'd find more, and I got a small handful, and the cons are kind of small for the most part. But let me do a quick rundown of my pro list, and if there's anything you want me to stop at and detail a bit more, just stop me and I'll detail a bit more. Alright, so first off, Goldblum. Easy one. 2, the Doctor Strange cameo. I think we all agree it was fun.
Yes,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Going along with that, another pro... along with the Doctor Strange movie, this is a really effective setup for Infinity War. And I want to elaborate real quick on that one. So Doctor Strange, we have the whole concept of the shield, of the magical barrier being down, making Earth vulnerable. And with this movie, we have Odin having passed away, meaning that a very powerful, prominent figure who has watched over the Infinity Stones is no longer there to watch over said Infinity Stones.
That's true.
Meaning that Thanos has a power vacuum to step in and do what he's got to do. I really like the setup. It's small, it's subtle, and they bring it in at the very end of the movie. Perfect. I like how they did that. I don't think they could have done it any more better without being too obvious. So I like it.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
I like that Hulk is given a lot more character and humanity in this film. Prior to this, he's been a monster and in a kind of a very two-dimensional figure for the most part. But with a bit of Age of Ultron, but definitely here, they've definitely given him more to work with, and it's actually making him a much more interesting character. Not that he never was, but he's definitely stepping up a little bit. Let's see. Thor is given more interesting things to do and becomes a more interesting character, which leads into my bigger point here. Thor actually has a good arc in this movie. Compared to the other films. In previous films, he was always kind of the, for lack of a better term, the dumb, blonde, meathead character. But here, he's actually shown growth, and he's learning, in the sense that he has been able to not only pull Loki out of his illusion, but also to see through his tricks and be able to reverse it on him, which is something he never did in previous movies, and it shows that he's actually learning. I'm like, yes, you're getting better at this. Great. Keep it going.
I'm gonna hold it.
Okay. Casting spot on with both Valkyrie and Hela. I wish Hela had more to do, and I'll get to that later, but I think both the actresses did a great job with what they had to work with. One thing I want to bring up that I mentioned in the synopsis, the action scenes have such good choreography, in my opinion. So in previous Thor films, one of my big complaints, I don't think I ever addressed it, is the camera always seemed like it was really zoomed in on the action, like right up in the grill when they were fighting. And while that isn't the end of the world, you don't really get a good view of what's going on. In this film, the camera's pulled back, the action's more the action's more predictable in the sense that you can kind of see where things are at on the screen and know where they're going to be going, or at least have a good sense of the space. They do a really good job with a lot of that. I kind of like how it's set up a lot better than some of the previous Marvel movies. I hope they keep that going down the road, especially with Infinity War. It's going to be a hassle there to do that.
Definitely.
Let's see. This is the closest we're going to get to a proper Planet Hulk. I feel sad about that, but I'm okay with what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Me too.
Well, we're going to get a World War Hulk. I really want World War Hulk, but it's never going to happen.
We're never going to get a World War Hulk.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I would love it.
It's just not going to happen.
And then my last two positive points, three. The first one, the relationship between Thor and Bruce and Hulk is explored here in a way that it never was in the previous films. And I like that. I like that we have a new, weird dynamic we haven't really seen before. Because we've seen Hulk with Black Widow, we've seen Bruce Banner with Iron Man. We've never seen this relationship explored beyond him being punched as a joke. I like that. It's flesh it out. It's great. Next one. This movie subverts a lot of the usual Thor ideas and overthrows a lot of expectations. And we can get more to that later on, because I'm sure that'll be part of the complaints as well. And then the last part that I want to point out that this movie deserves some credit for, according to the director, 80% of this film, he might be exaggerating a small bit, is improvised dialogue. Which means that a lot of the jokes, a lot of the pieces you see, just a lot of them bantering back and forth for fun. And that's really cool that it all worked out so well and made such a good movie out of it.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I heard about that.
So yeah, those are my positive points. I'm sure there's more things to talk about in more detail, but let's turn it over to you guys. Is there anything you want me to go into detail on, or we want to switch over to the negative?
I had another positive I forgot about.
Okay.
I really enjoyed his take on Korg and Meek. Um, as a Planet Hulk guy, I always envisioned Korg as more of a kind of hard ass rock guy, and him just kind of be the jokester, and Meek just being this little knife bug dude. Like it was fun. I enjoyed it. I wasn't sure if I would when I first heard Korg talk, but I was okay with it.
I'll say Cork has his moments. I don't think he lands for me every single time, but for the most part, yeah, he's got a good moment or two here and there.
Yeah. So.
Right? Anything else you want to add, or should we go on to the con list real quick?
I mean, we've hit all the good things that I really liked about the movie. The overall fun factor was increased, and that the realizations of a lot of the new characters and some of the old ones were really spot on. I am ready to go to the gripes if you guys.
All right. Well, since you seem so eager
Yeah.
to do it, why don't you start us off, Ryan?
All right. So I will work my way up to the big one. But my first one actually is probably going to surprise you. Hella. I like Hella, but I feel like some of the humor that they gave Cate Blanchett to do felt forced. It felt like it didn't feel like that kind of natural ebb and flow that you get like with the humor from like a lot of people. So from Tom Hiddleston, who's obviously been doing Marvel movies for a while now, and is definitely more relaxed and into the kind of the humor of the movies that they want to go for, definitely feels natural. Tessa Thompson took to it like a natural. Jeff Goldblum is flawless in every instance that he appears.
For those watching, we're gonna put Goldblum in a little bubble. Anything we say that's negative does not touch him. It's not him.
It does not. Yes, he is blameless in every way. It's just he's right there. He is untouched. But I feel like the humor from Hella, for a good portion of it, felt
Now,
really
I'm actually very curious if you have a specific example, because I'm thinking back to it. And there's a few good lines she has in her exchanges with Thor and Loki, but is there any spot in particular you're thinking of?
I mean, it's mostly I can think of the couple of spots that were really good, like when she had that talk with Scourge about, you know, every great king has an executioner, not just to execute people, but also to execute their vision. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was great. But I don't know. It's just the humor that they tried to place in her natural like lines and like just demonstrating her worldview and how, you know, like, oh yeah, well, you know, Odin was, he was, like, he's proud of how he's proud to have it, but he's ashamed of how he got it, and blah, 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 blah. Like, I thought it was well delivered, but I thought it felt forced. I wish I could be more.
So I think I know what you might be getting at, and you guys can correct me if I'm
appealing.
wrong. I have a similar complaint. I don't think her humor was too forced. My issue was more the fact that she was undercooked. I feel like if she had had more screen time and more time to develop her character, we might have been able to get a better sense of her. We had a pretty good idea of who she was, but I liked her character enough where I would have loved to have seen more of it. Like, get me a little bit more into her headspace so I can see exactly what kind of stuff she's doing, make it so her takeover of Asgard's a bit more interesting. There's more you could have done with the character, and I think they were so focused on the Planet Hulk thing. No gripes against that, of course, but the fact that they were focused on that, not her, I can kind of see why they traded off screen time for that and didn't really give her much meat to work with.
Yeah, my take on that too is like you just said, Aaron. I think with having Planet Hulk, which, you know, I loved, it kind of took away from what Thor Ragnarok is supposed to be and what I think Hela was trying to do. Like me personally, like kind of my take on it is like you're kind of putting the goddess of death and then
Yeah, a
Enchantress
little bit.
almost like the same character, you know, and like that was kind of my complaint with her is that like you were trying to make two characters into the same person is the kind of the way I saw it. Plus, like I got her motivations, but like I didn't. It was just like I don't know. It was hard. And then you have Surtur in there like as just a throwaway character, and he's like one of Thor's biggest enemies, and he's just kind of like over here to the side, you know. So they almost had too much going on, and it took away from somebody like Kate Blanchett, who is an awesome actress, and I think she really could have taken over this role
Yeah.
if she had something more to do, you know.
I felt like Kate Blanchett would have done a fantastic job, and this is not saying anything about her ability because she is a phenomenal actress. But I feel like I don't think it's her portrayal of the character. I think it was the writing of the character.
Yeah.
And I don't know too much about the. I don't know too much about the lore behind Hela or behind Enchantress, so that definitely may contribute to what I'm feeling. The kind of I don't know the kind of misdirection with the character, just like not necessarily sure how they want to play it. But it's like it was almost like she was supposed to be quintessential like super extra and out there villain, but with a level of snark beneath it, and this whole by the way, I can kill all of you whenever I fucking feel like it.
Yeah.
Type of vibe. And it's just like that's a lot to juggle, and I felt like the character itself didn't really mesh together. So Kate Blanchett wasn't really given as amazing of a role as she could have lived up to.
And like I said, I think more screen time and a more carefully looked over script could have probably brought that out a bit more. But like I said, they were focused on so many other things. I don't think they had the space for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem too is that you're mashing all these storylines together. It's a lot to fit into a 2-hour movie, and still make it enjoyable, which they still did. But I think they were so worried about it just being Thor centric that it took away from what Ragnarok should be. It shouldn't be a Hulk story. It should be a Thor story, but I love Hulk, so it's like I'm
How
complaining
dare
about
you
the
give
thing
me
I
what
love
I
the
want?
most. But
No, I see you.
you just give me playing a
we
Hulk
all
movie
want
by itself,
that.
damn it.
I definitely see where you're coming from, Robbie.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that the movie centered on Hulk at any point, but at the same time, you're right. The addition of so many elements from Planet Hulk kind of took away from the focusing power, like the narrative power, the narrative drive that could have been given towards developing Hela, towards giving Thor more depth of character.
Yeah.
So I definitely see your complaint there.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, what else you got for
I
us?
share it. So I mean, so when I went back to the movie, I was worried that a similar issue I was going to have as I did with Guardians 2 was going to come up, that the humor wasn't landing for me, and that a lot of it was just funny the first time. Maybe they tried too hard to lean into the humor with this one. I was actually pleasantly surprised that wasn't the case. The majority of the humor in the movie felt good, and it landed with me the second time. I think the biggest thing that I didn't like about the humor is I feel like they made Thor regress in order to be funny. Because I'm looking at Thor, and it was really interesting that you brought up Thor's character growth, because I feel like he regressed.
So where do you think that? Where do you see that kind of regression? I'm actually very curious.
So when you look at Thor's character arc throughout like all of his movies, and he starts off as a really stupid blonde who just wants to fight and do whatever the fuck he wants, and blah 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 blah. He starts there, but he grows. He matures out of that. He learns responsibility for his actions. That's fantastic. You get to Dark World, where he's kind of mired in this responsibility. So like all the joy gets sucked out of him, and he's super serious and like dour but stoic, and okay, a little too far like removed from the fun. I feel like in Ragnarok, it was overcorrected. So it felt more like Thor from Thor 1, where he was just really dumb. Like he wasn't irresponsible. He was definitely responsible, and he wasn't like battle thirsty or like just wants to fight everything that comes in his path. That's definitely not the case. But I feel like they overcorrected and took away too much of that stoicism. Because I mean, like, when you think of Avengers Hulk, like where he's been on Midgard for a while and he's been working with the heroes, and you can tell that he still has that joy, but he's also much more serious, and he strikes like a perfect balance. That's what I wanted to see.
You mean Thor?
I wanted to see Avengers Hulk here, and I didn't get that. Yeah, Thor, thank you. I wanted to see Avengers Thor here, and not slightly more frat boy ass.
Robbie, what's your take on that? I'm still mulling it over.
I can see what you're saying, Ryan. But I think I lean more towards how you put it before, Aaron, that I think we saw more growth from him, that he's not just going into battle. And, like, look at the beginning of the movie, you know, for instance, like, he gets captured by Surtur basically just to figure out what's going to cause Ragnarok, and then uses that knowledge to, what he thinks, stop it. And, like, before in that situation, he would have just, you know, barreled in there trying to figure it out, but he, like, comes up with somewhat of a clever plan. And I think he truly cares about his people, even if he didn't learn like the true lesson till the end about, you know, Asgard's not a place, it's the people. But like him actually like doing whatever you could to help them, I thought was cool too. Like that he was growing. I didn't see as much frat boy-esque as you were saying, Ryan, but I think it's just with the jokes it kind of seems that way. But yeah, that's just the overall.
I think that definitely the frat boy thing you mentioned
movie,
definitely comes more from the tone of the overall film. I'm looking at Thor as a character individually, trying to cut out with the goofiness of the film, and I still see that he has grown. He's learned from the tricks. He's applying clever ideas to his battle strategies. I think that there's definitely more growth here than what's being given credit for. I do think there's a slip into arrogance here and there.
Well,
but I don't think it's unfounded. I think he's just a very cocky, very confident person. Yeah.
I think that's just who he is. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm saying he went all the way back to square one. I'm not saying that. Definitely not. I mean, I definitely want to acknowledge how far the character has come. He definitely has grown. He's seeing through Loki's tricks. He's thinking more, and he's trying to be a little more responsible. Yeah. But there's definitely a shift in tone of his character, and I don't think it's only due to the humor. I think that it's caused by it. Not necessarily. Okay, well, I'm doing a bad job of explaining it. But
it's hard.
Okay. Example. When at the end of Dark World, when he's face to face with what he thinks is Odin, and Odin's like, "All right, you're here. You've grown so wise. You've proven your strength and your heroism to all the 9 realms. It's time for you to step up and be king of Asgard. Take your place on the throne." And Thor makes the decision to not take the throne because he knows what kind of man he would have to become in order to be king. And he said, I would rather be a good man than a good king. And he feels like it's hard to do both. And I thought that was a really well-founded character moment. I thought it was really amazing, and I absolutely loved it. But in this movie, it makes it seem like Thor dodged the crown because he didn't want to take responsibility, which is a step back. It's not directly back to Thor 1, where he's an asshole who doesn't think about anything, but it's definitely a step back from the wise Thor that realized he may not.
So I'm very curious. At what point in the film was it kind of showing that he was down to responsibility? Because I didn't catch that anywhere.
I got that. I'm pretty sure they mentioned something along those lines when he actually gets back to Asgard and is talking to Odin / Loki.
Yeah.
Right. So it's given there. Actually, that's pretty much the big scene where it's kind of touched upon. And it's just like, I've been traveling the 9 realms, da 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 da, and
yeah.
I think
he actually says it.
I think he actually says it. I'm pretty sure that kind of stuck in my head. I can't call the exact line.
I don't think he was saying it as in he doesn't want that responsibility. I think it's a callback to, like you're saying, Ryan, like in the last movie. I don't think he
says that again towards the end too.
And
I think he's ready for it, but he has to do it anyway.
Yeah, but I think he's more ready for it now because he had to make that hard decision at the end of the movie he's like, we have to cause Ragnarok and end Asgard. That's the only way to save everybody. And that's the type of decision that a king would make that I don't think Thor.
Oh God, no! He would have fought tooth and nail to keep it going.
Would have made because he thinks it. Yeah, exactly, and I think that's part of the growth. But I think I get what you're saying, Ryan, because like you said, he specifically says, I don't want this, and I think the tone that he gave in that moment can make a person think, kind of along the lines that, like you're saying, like he regressed. But I think towards the end of the movie, he's showing that he hasn't. He's actually grown, is what I took away from it, I guess. But I can see your point.
Yeah, I mean, as we're discussing it, I feel like I'm coming to realize that my problem with Thor's character in the movie is definitely more a symptom of the overall tone being so light, and perhaps I'm judging it a little too hard.
Well, no, I get it, because I know the past few movies have
just,
not really set well with you in terms of the humor, because I know that both Strange and Guardians and... Did we mention in Spider-Man 2 that the humor wasn't quite sitting well for you at all, or was it just those first two?
Yeah, no. I dug the humor in Spider-Man 2. It was good. It was okay.
I just want to make sure I was remembering correctly. But no, I get it. I get it. Though the humor and tone have been sort of gearing this direction, and I get that for the most part it hasn't been hitting all your notes for the most. So I kind of get where you're coming from on this a little bit in terms of the tone here.
I mean, it's probably a personal preference thing, because I definitely dig the serious characters, and they had taken Thor in a very serious direction with Dark World, and for all its foibles, I really liked Thor as a character in Dark World. I thought that he had a fantastic character arc, and I really liked where his character was going.
I agree.
So to then throw him into super light, happy 80s time, kind of jar. Go ahead. Just a little jar.
Can I see what you're saying, right? And like, this is something personally I've been afraid of too, is that ever since the success of Guardians of the Galaxy, which I feel like needs to have this light, fun, rock and music tone, that they're trying to implement that in every movie, and when it needs to be serious, it's almost taken away from it. and it makes me worried, like, because not that we need to talk about it in this movie, but we're getting towards Infinity War. I mean, that's going to be pretty serious, I would think. You got Thanos trying to kill everybody, so
I feel like
I worry about it a little
I feel
bit.
like you don't have to worry about it too much with Infinity War. And my reason for thinking that is every Captain America appearance we've seen so far, barring Avengers, but that's because it was the first outing. I'm not going to make a big deal about it. But every Captain America outing we've seen so far, the films have stopped, slowed down, and gotten serious. We've seen.
That's true. That's true. Winter Soldier
Captain
and Civil
shows
War.
up. He's like, "Shit's going down, guys."
Yeah.
Not to mention Black Panther's going to be there, and I think
that's
he'll
true.
continue the seriousness for the most part. Because we're going to talk about Black Panther next week, but I feel like that film did still stick to the hey, we have a serious problem and a serious story to tell. So I don't think it's going to be ubiquitous all the way through.
Yeah, and I guess with this, like, I think it was just because it was a space adventure and a lot of those call for more lighter, colorful type of tone. So I'm just overthinking it, I think.
No. I definitely see where you're coming from. I didn't have that greater worry for the MCU as a whole being kind of skewed towards that type of like frivolity. Especially, and my worries were completely reassured. Like, I'm completely solved when I saw Black Panther. We're going to talk about it next week, I know. But you're right. I mean, the overall tone between like the fun moments and the real serious moments and the badass action moments, they definitely struck a fantastic balance. I'm not worried about the overall balance of it.
You're right.
But this movie was what I was worried about because I knew they had such a hard time trying to pin down exactly what Thor's stories were going to be, and Guardians was such a huge fucking success. Somebody at Marvel Studios just said, "You know what? Fuck it, just make Thor into a Guardians movie. Let's just do it. Let's just something will work there because it worked the last time, and a lot of it did work." I just feel like parts of Thor didn't work.
What other negatives you want to pull up from this before we move on?
But yeah. Honestly, those were my big ones. I was going to make a comment about the overall humor, but then, like I said, when I saw it again, like most of the humor, like the majority of the humor.
I had no problem with Thor's humor per se. My problem was more Korg, and I didn't hate the character. It's just that his humor was a little bit corny for my taste. I don't know. That's just me. Piss off, Ghost.
Made a rock. Nothing to fear unless you're made out of scissors. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That
was kind of funny.
Like I said, I didn't hate him. It's just that it didn't always stick.
I was actually
for the most part, it was good.
I was having a good time with Korg and me. Those guys were funny.
Yeah. I did have one small thing I wanted to say, Aaron. A small criticism I had is that the non-Planet Hulk parts of this movie, like the Warriors 3, for instance, you just fucking kill them off right away. Like, I know they're not
like straight up.
Like, I know they're not big characters, but you just murder them immediately. Like, I was just like that. I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. I'm like, they shouldn't have died like that. I don't know. I mean, maybe it was trying to...
Volstagg said, "Who are you?" and then died.
Yeah.
That was it. I was like, yo! This is the guy who's supposed to be the War Thor. You just fucking X'd him out.
Yeah.
Like, what?
So I do want to address that real quick. So it goes back to what I said earlier about soft rebooting. I think that's going to tie into this here, so I'll jump into that real quick.
Okay.
So I do agree that I think all the Warriors 3... And Sif, she was never around, but I'm not going to get into that.
Well,
so the Warriors,
Sif's was more Warriors because 3, of I think didn't Jamie Alexander have like conflicts?
Contract issues?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but I think so. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But no. So I think the Warriors 3 should have all been in that final battle. I think that would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Because then you could at least see them go down in glory. That would have been cool. Despite that, I think that the death of Odin, the death of the Warriors 3, and the complete destruction of Asgard, all tie into what this film's trying to do. And I think the director has said it in an interview here or there, which is that they're basically pushing away from the first two Thor films and trying to do something drastically different. And I think they've succeeded in that. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it depends on who you ask. But I think this is the first example you're going to see, and we're going to see more examples of this probably down the road as contracts start running out. This is the first example we're going to see of Marvel doing a soft reboot in universe. In other words, they're going to take away all the pieces so they can rebuild them again later, and without changing everything else in the MCU. And that's an interesting idea and an interesting concept. I'm curious to see where it goes, because the only other one I can see... Okay, the other two I can see outside of this one happening anytime soon would be the Captain America being replaced by Bucky or Sam Wilson.
Yep.
And the other one I could see is Spider-Man being replaced eventually by Miles Morales. There are other ones, obviously, here and there.
I was going to say, having Peter in high school, that's going to take a while.
No. I understand. I understand. Those are the first that come to my mind as potentials.
Yeah. Do you think
there's more?
Do you think with Thor, like, maybe like Valkyrie could be like a woman replacement, like do her own thing?
I mean, they're not going to bring back Natalie Portman to do the official Lady Thor in the comics, so she'd be your first bet, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
No.
And I'd be okay with that. She does a good job with what she's got. She needs to build up to it, though. She can't just get it next movie. There needs to be a transition.
Yeah.
I have I have issues with Lady Thor, but that's for a different podcast. It's for a different podcast.
Yeah.
But all that
I'm
being
sorry.
said,
Hold up. I'm sorry. Disclaimer: I have nothing against a woman being Thor. That is not my gripe. That is absolutely not my gripe, guys, ladies. Please, that's not what I'm saying. It's just I have issues with the way they did it. So
Ryan, check your privilege.
You literally just saw me check my shit in real time.
I couldn't resist. I never get to use that phrase. I wanted to use it. But no. So I like what it's trying to do mechanically. I think the soft reboot idea and exploring it and trying to shut off what didn't work of the previous films to find new things that do work is a really interesting idea. Whether it all works or not will remain to be seen. Again, we're all sort of not fully in agreement on anything, but going forward in the future films, because I know Chris Hemsworth has a renewed interest in doing more Thor because of this movie. I'm very interested to see what they decide to do with it going forward. Yeah, he said that getting rid of the wig and making the movie a little more lighthearted and fun really brought a new energy to the character that he liked, and he wants to keep it going if he can. So I'm curious to see if they keep it going.
Well, we'll probably find out more, once we figure out what happens with Infinity War. I think.
Yeah, once the dust settles, and we know who survives.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the idea that he's got a ship with like hundreds of Asgardians and all of the signs pointing towards the new Asgard settlement on Earth, like they did in the comics.
Yeah, wasn't that on top of Tony Stark's tower?
No.
I thought it was. Am I thinking I remember that they had the Asgardians on top of Stark Tower at one point, but that was like after Loki brought in Norman Osborn to fuck up the place in the official Asgard.
Yeah,
right, and then
that sounds right.
I think they eventually like got them settled somewhere, but like in this movie, like the
Probably
idea that no, damn it, no politics. Anyway, no, but I keep going. I keep thinking back to the death place of Odin, this nice, really like secluded, gorgeous spot somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Norway, and he even said like in his final scene where he's talking to Thor about like after he died about how the hammer was supposed to control his power, which I love what they did with Mjolnir, by the way, but I will talk about that later. But he said this place could be like when he said the people. Asgard's not a place, it's a people. He said, hell, this place could be Asgard. So I feel like that's going to be the new Asgard settlement. And
like I said, we'll see who survives Infinity War before we confirm that's the place.
Yeah.
No confirmations here. Cannot confirm. But I have a strong feeling, like with a lot of the pieces we saw in this movie, that they're laying the groundwork for Thor to be here for a while. So I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, and like we said during the trivia last week, too, Ragnarok is cyclical, meaning that Asgard will eventually return if they stick to that.
Yep.
But that could be a different Asgard. It could be a whole new CGI Wonderland, which could look a lot better, more interesting. I'm open to ideas. I'm looking forward to seeing what they end up doing with the concept.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else we want to touch on before we hit review roundup?
Oh, real quick. Aside from the Mjolnir part, which I love, I like that they actually pulled a semi-Mandarin-esque twist with Scourge, because Scourge is supposed to be this stoic, quiet badass that just destroys people every single time he steps on screen. And all of the trailers you got for Karl Urban is just Karl Urban, this big-ass axe and this big-ass suit of armor. And you're like, God damn, this is going to be ridiculous. And he was kind of a moron, but he was hilarious and lovable. And I feel like that's the Mandarin twist done right. And I wonder how you feel about that in particular, Aaron, because I know you liked... I know you had thoughts about the Mandarin twist in Iron Man 3, so what'd you feel about Scourge?
So I want to say every time you say the Mandarin twist, I keep thinking we're talking like a dance move or a drink, and it just makes me laugh every time. I think it's okay here. I still like how it's done in the first attempt, and I think that it's fine here. I don't think Scourge pulled me in as much as a character, so I don't think I was as invested with the concept, but
okay.
I can see where you're coming from, and I like it. I think it works.
Yeah, it wasn't like a huge investment, but it was funny, just to have him appear completely different than what you were expecting.
I did like his introduction during the scene where the dragon gets beheaded and everyone's covered in ooze, though. That was pretty fun. I did enjoy that a lot. If everyone is agreeable, let's move on to the review roundup.
All right,
let's do it.
All right, so I don't have Tom Huddleston this week. He disappears on me every so often. But this week I've got Tom Russo, not an actual Russo brother, with a positive review. Before I get to that, though, let me do the numbers real quick. The critics scored this movie as I scrolled up. Here we go. As critics scored it as a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the fans at 87%.
Wow.
So, pretty solid numbers all around, I think.
The critics really like this shit. Okay.
The critics have been getting more favorable to these later films. It's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah.
So Tom Russo says, as a steady stream of random wit and bawdiness, it's a good time. But as a story ostensibly escalating towards the titular cataclysm, Norse mythology's take on Doomsday, Ragnarok, feels too episodic, a scattered trifle passed off as an epic. And that kind of touches on our earlier comments about this feeling like it's got too much stuff going on at once.
Yeah. They're trying to do too many things at the same time. Yeah, no, I feel that.
Yep.
He was very wordy with it, but I liked it. David Edelstein of the New York Magazine and Vulture. It's good to see Ruffalo liberated from the more masochistic portrait in Avengers: Age of Ultron, and with a fresh partner in Tessa Thompson. I can agree to that.
Yeah, Hulk had a lot more fun.
Hulk's more fun, and Tessa Thompson is just amazing with what she does with this role.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Let's get a absolutely negative review here from Adam Graham of the Detroit News. Ragnarok is supposed to play for laughs, but it feels like a joke is on the audience.
Oof. Damn.
Yeah,
Dang.
A little harsh there. A little harsh on the buzz. Let's do one more negative review from Matthew Licona from the San Diego Reader. Director Taika Waititi's take on the God of Thunder plays a bit like a rock mockumentary. This is Spinal Tap. It's front loaded with jokes, built around a severe, humbling, and full of silly bombast.
Yeah, alright.
So yeah, that's our reviews from the review roundup. Yeah, I would say for the most part, most of them aren't too far off. I'd say maybe Adam Graham's a little harsh.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, that one really negative one. It felt like it was negative for the sake of being negative. I ain't get any actual criticism.
All right, I'm checking Tumblr real quick, Ryan, because we have another segment coming up, and it's the listener question of the week.
Ooh.
And I'm seeing if we have any responses yet. I got like 5 reblogs and like 5 likes and shares and shit. But no one fucking answered the question.
Guys!
Damn it!
I know, right? So the listener question of the week, if anyone does seem to answer before this goes live on the internet, the question was, what do you want to see in the next Spider-Man film? So if we have another Spider-Man film from John Watts and Marvel, Sony, what do you want to see next? Villains, storylines, the works. What do you want to see? Obviously, we've already done Vulture. So, boys, what do you want to see in your next Spider-Man movie?
Ooh.
I obviously assume you want to see more Spider-Man, but what else?
Oh, I'm excited about this question.
I mean...
Ryan, you go first.
Okay. I know we're gonna get it. Actually, I know we're gonna get it, like, probably in Infinity War, because we've seen hints of it. But the idea that the Spidey sense isn't, like, an integral part of his powers, but rather something he grows into, I'm really interested to see what the in-story explanation for that is. Because if it's not gonna be a nifty thing in the Iron Spider suit, and it's not going to be a part of his like normal power set that he got, then I'm interested in seeing how they explain it.
I mean, obviously he levels up by grinding on slimes in a cave.
That's fair. No. He leveled with the experience from his Vulture fight. That's what it was.
Oh, right.
He hit a milestone
I'm
there, and got leveled up.
Robbie, what do you think?
So 2 villains I want to see. First, I've always wanted to see Mysterio, and I think we have the technology to really make it cool. Like, just incredible. I think that'd be really fun, and especially this Spider-Man, I think they can take a fun twist on Mysterio and make it fun. For an older Peter Parker, I've always wanted to see Kraven in The Last Hunt on Spider-Man.
You took my answer right there.
That would be so badass. I don't think high school Peter should have that, but like older, more veteran Spider-Man and having Kraven hunt him, that would be really, really baller.
Now, so here's an interesting thing I've been reading about that may influence how the next Spider-Man goes. So, I don't know if you've read this, but recently there's been a new casting call for Casey Lane in a untitled Marvel movie after Infinity War is over. No one, and after
a new Cassie Lane.
Yeah, so a new girl will be cast as the daughter of Scott Lane.
I saw that.
And
yeah.
if you've read anything about it, she's significantly older than the 7-year-old daughter he's supposed to have.
Oh shit! Okay, all right. I'm ready for that. That's cool.
The theory behind this is there might be some time travel shenanigans between now and the 4th Avengers movie. We don't know what. We don't know how. But that's the theory right now, and I'm excited to see that. So I think an older Peter Parker with Kraven is possible.
If they
I'm not
just
going to
time
guarantee it, but it's possible. And now, if they go for a lighthearted movie, I am down for Mysterio.
Yep.
He is probably my favorite Spider-Man villain, hands down. I love Scarecrow-like villains who are indirect and do all sorts of weird shit like that. But I really want to see Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, man.
And here's why I think it would work. So the first movie we established Peter in the first movie as basically a nobody, and then he meets Tony Stark, Civil War happens, and guess what? His face is everywhere, his name's everywhere, and soon the idea of this man spider in New York is worldwide knowledge. The world's best hunter is going to see this at some point and see this is the next hunt he has to take. And having Kraven show up like that would show not only Peter a darker edge to his storylines, which I think would be interesting to see him play off of, and maybe even make him challenge the whole idea of wanting to be Spider-Man, but it also would... I had the words here, they're escaping me now. But it would show just how big a name he is and the potential threats that is to him as a person and as a character, as a hero. And I would be curious to see how this seemingly powerless man brings down the Spider. And it'd be really cool to see how that goes down.
Oh, yeah. Sign me up. Take my money.
Yeah. No, take all my money. I want to see that.
Now, because it's a Marvel movie, I do feel like Kraven won't be your main villain. I think he'll be the muscle. I think he'll be the one that directly goes after Peter. But I think there'll be a smarter, more maniacal villain behind the scenes pulling the strings who is going to use Kraven to get Spider-Man to him and kill him. And then he's just going to throw Kraven out for nothing, and then that's going to be where Kraven turns and helps Spider-Man. I think that's how it's going to play out in an actual movie. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, you know, with this deal that Sony made, like, how Spider-Man's going to play out after Infinity War. Like, they make Homecoming 2, or whatever it's going to be called, and then is that it? Is this Sony universe that they're making with Venom a separate thing? Are they going to mash it together? What's going to happen? I'm really curious.
Why are they doing Venom?
I
like Tom Hardy. I like Woody Harrelson. But why are you doing this to them?
Honestly, I feel like Venom might be Sony's last ditch effort to do something meaningful with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's already insanely popular as once Homecoming came out. Once it was announced that Marvel's got him and we're gonna do some movies with him, it instantly became amazing.
Yep.
And I feel like Sony's like, okay, let's take one more stab at the franchise. Let's try to do Venom. It's literally edgier, darker guy. Let's do it. And then as soon as
literally
they
stabbing the franchise.
Honestly, as soon as they fuck up Venom, because it's gonna be a fuck up. It's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be like a car crash. I'm gonna have to watch. I don't know.
I'm going.
I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna be like, God damn it, guys.
I'm gonna give it a week or two. I don't want to give him that day one number and have it mean something.
Just go and cross your arms the whole time and pout. That's gonna be me. This is stupid. Why am I here?
I feel like once that bombs, then Sony will be like, okay, guys, Marvel, just cut us a big fucking check.
Please let that happen.
Let's just do it. Because obviously they can't. Obviously they can't do it. They can't fucking do it.
But guys, if the Venom movie fails, we'll never get that cool young Aunt May movie.
Oh, bro.
If you like that question, or you want to see more questions like that for next week, be sure to answer our questions in the Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, or at our email. Ryan, what is that email?
That is evacstation@gmail.com.
And you might be able to answer questions like this one. So this movie, and I'm going to get to here in the ranking bit because I think it's really important. This is the first movie in the whole series, I think, that does what I would call a team up, where it puts two completely different characters from different storylines and different arcs and different franchises together, Thor and Hulk, and smashes them into one movie. It's a cool idea, and I think we're going to see more of that going forward. So, in that idea, what other superhero Marvel team-ups do you want to see in film?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, are we answering this, or is this for next week? Sorry.
That's
dang. Okay.
But Robbie, if you want to add your answer to next week's, make sure you go to Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, or email.
You know I'm going to.
gmail.com.
I swear to God, if Robbie is the only person who answers this question.
If Robbie answers the question, he will forever be welcome to this podcast, no matter what happens.
Oh yeah, no doubt. He's forever welcome now, but I want Robbie to be joined by other people who are listening to the podcast.
Gotta get the people in. Got to.
With that, we have other questions, but they're for me and Ryan. Ryan, are you ready for everyone's favorite segment, the Trivia War?
Oh boy, here we go.
For those who are tuning in for the first time, because of course you tuned in the first time in the penultimate episode, or second to penultimate episode, whatever. Trivia War is a section where Ryan and I ask each other questions, one easy, one medium, one hard, over the next film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we decided to see, we're trying to do this to see who the best Marvel lorester is. This week, our questions are going to be, of course, about Black Panther, one of the most popular films of the MCU, and the most popular film of this year so far. We'll see if that stands up to the test of time when Infinity War comes out. But, Ryan, we've got questions. What do you want to go first?
Sure, yeah, I can go first. Alright. Are you ready for your easy questions?
Yes, I think I am.
Alright, so the easy question's pretty easy, but it also has a bonus point if you can get it as well. The King of Wakanda has an elite squad of all-female warriors. I need the name of the female warrior squad, and the bonus question is, why are they all female?
Fuck, I know I should know this name. So, I have a very similar question that comes up, and I know the name of that group was mentioned, but fuck me, I am spacing on the fucking name. Why did I not write that one down when I had a chance? I know there's some kind of like elite guard to the king, but I can't remember why they're all female either. I want to. I feel dumb. I feel like as soon as you tell me the answer, I'm gonna be like, "Fuck! I should have known that," but I don't remember it all.
All right. Well, if you're gonna pass on that, the name of the group is the Dora Milaje.
Son of a bitch.
And the reason that, and this is actually pretty cool, the reason that they're all female is actually is that they also are a pool of superior Wakandan women for the king to possibly marry if he chooses.
I was gonna say that, but I'm like, no, that doesn't seem like what they would do. I'm gonna not say that.
It wasn't played up in the movie. That wasn't played up in the movie, but yes, that's just a little bit of lore for you.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and do your easy question, which is much easier, I think. What other Marvel character has Michael B. Jordan played? And what other MCU actor has also played this role?
Oh, man. So, Michael B. Jordan, not in the Marvel movies, but in the silly-ass reboot that I still have yet to
I saw it. It's an abomination. Don't look at it.
Oh, it's so bad. It looks
It's so bad.
But he played Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, in that horrible reboot of Fantastic Four. The character Johnny Storm was also played by Chris Evans in an earlier adaptation, who would later go on to be Captain America.
You know, we'll have to watch that movie at some point just so we can say we did it.
You know what? I'm okay to watch the first two Fantastic Four
No,
movies.
Ryan.
They're bad, but they're
Ryan,
fun.
we have to suffer for our art.
Must we?
All right, Ryan. What is my medium question?
All right. So, speaking of Michael B. Jordan and his previous acting works, it's actually really cool to know that that Michael B. Jordan and the director of Black Panther, Ryan Coogler, this is not their first. This is not their first time working together on a project. They were actually in two other very well-known movies with as protagonist and director. For 1 point each, name the two movies that Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler have worked on in the past.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I am not well-versed in everything Michael B. Jordan has done. I know 3 of the movies he's been in. I know 2 of them were not by Ryan Coogler, because they were shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ryan Coogler did not do the Fantastic Four movie, so...
He also didn't do Chronicle, because that was also by the same guy who did Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Hey, I actually kind of liked Chronicle, but that's fine.
To be fair, I'm okay with Chronicle. It has moments. But anyway. So I'm assuming one of them is Creed.
Yes, that's one point.
Okay, I got a point. No shutout. As for the second one, man, I wish I knew more of Michael B. Jordan's work. How recent is this one?
It's not recent.
Okay, so I definitely won't know it then, because I don't remember. I don't know how far back this one goes. I'm going to pass on that one, but I'm sure I've at least heard of it.
All right. So the other movie that they worked on together was actually back in 2013, and it was Fruitvale Station.
I've never even heard of that one.
You've never heard of? Oh my god, dude!
No,
this is that's a really important movie.
Like I said, I'm not well versed in Michael B. Jordan. He first showed up to me in Chronicle, and I kind of like, okay, he's good. Let's follow him and see where he goes.
Fruitvale Station was Michael B. Jordan's first really big role. Really big role.
You never seen The Wire?
Oh, of course I've seen The Wire.
I have not seen The Wire.
Oh, Aaron.
Robbie, of course.
All right.
To be fair,
Michael B. Jordan's in The Wire.
To be fair, I'm really bad at keeping up with TV shows. There's so many.
Okay. You need to dig into that one. That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah. What I meant was Fruitvale Station was his first real breakout role in film.
Oh, for
as
sure.
a protagonist. He played Oscar Grant III.
Yep.
And it was their first team up on a movie. That's what I meant.
Could you repeat that, Ryan, so I can write it down real quick?
Fruitvale Station.
Fruitvale Station. I will be sure to add that to my watch list, and I will get to it as soon as I can, actually.
It's really good. It's really sad, but it's really good.
Okay, Ryan, your medium question. For 2 points, what are the 5 tribes of Wakanda?
God damn it. Oh, man, this is sad.
If it helps, Ryan, if it helps, most of them are descriptions. Only one of them really has has a specific name to it. The other 4 don't really seem to have a name that I could look up.
Oh man, this is okay. So I know there's the Panther tribe. I know there's the Jabari tribe, which are the white gorillas in the mountains, because they're boss like that. God damn it. God damn it.
I might have him. If you can give me one more, I'll give you a point.
God damn it, because they were always referred to as the 5 tribes of Wakanda. Fuck, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the Rhino tribe, but I can't remember the name. I can't remember what they were called. So I will. All
right. So the 5 tribes they have. We have the Golden, Royal, or Panther tribe. They got a lot of different names for that one. There's a Jabari tribe, which you already mentioned. Then the other 3 are named more by their function more than any specific animal, which I thought was disappointing. But there's the Border tribe, which is what you're referring to for the rhinos. There's the River tribe, which is the one that focuses more on getting the water around Wakanda. And then there's the Merchant tribe, which runs the trade and commerce of Wakanda. I had to look that up for a very specific reason for next week's podcast. You'll find out more during next week's synopsis.
Oh, boy! You got me. Me.
I thought you would have gotten the third one there. I was surprised at that one.
I thought that they had specific names.
I thought they did too when I looked them up, and they didn't. I was like, oh man, they missed out on an opportunity there. That would have been cool.
Yeah, damn. All right, okay.
All right, what is my hard question?
Your hard question. The main villain of this movie, Eric Killmonger, drops his Wakandan name when he throws the gauntlet down for kingship and his title and his right to the throne. What is Eric Killmonger's Wakandan name?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
This is payback for all that Norse bullshit that you put me through last week.
Last week. Time's relative, Ryan. Time's relative.
Cagliostro.
Call back to that one. I'm gonna have to pass because I'm not gonna lie, Ryan. I've only had the opportunity to see it once because it's still in theaters. I wish it was on DVD now so I could rewatch it before the episode next week. So yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, I got to see it. I got to see it 3 times in theaters.
You motherfucker!
I had to. It was really good. I had to give it all my money. But Eric Killmonger's Wakandan name is N'Jaka, which actually I'm pretty sure it means eternal ruler. No. Eternal ruler is actually the kind of Norse name, the Norse meaning for Eric. But no, N'Jaka is his Wakandan name.
All right. Well, Ryan, I have one more question for you, and don't worry, I made sure it was difficult as well.
God damn. We're being mean to each other today.
Well, Ryan, this is a very close contest. I think we're separated by like 1 point.
Oof.
Okay. In Iron Man 2, it pinpoints Wakanda's location at a real-life location known as Lake Turkana, which shares what similarity with the in-Marvel Universe Wakanda?
Oh, bro, what? What? I need a repeat. Repeat this question. What the hell?
Okay. Iron Man 2 pinpoints Wakanda's location on the map at the real-life location of Lake Turkana in Africa. This location shares what similarity with the in-Marvel Universe Wakanda? You're gonna hate me when I tell you what the answer is.
Bruh, what? Oh, god damn. Okay. Let's think about this for a second. What do we know about Wakanda? Alright, well, it's got a huge force field that mimics a very vast rainforest.
They might have that. They might have that.
So it might be the rainforest, maybe, possibly. I don't know. You said it's Lake Turkana?
Turkana. Turkana.
Yep, because obviously I'm up on my African geography, Aaron.
I thought this was a really interesting fact. I thought maybe you would have gleaned it at some point.
You know what? I'm gonna take a guess because the big thing, the biggest landmark or the biggest geographical thing about Wakanda is that it has a giant mine that is being mined. A giant mountain that is being mined for precious metals. So I'm gonna guess that it has a big mountain/mine area.
I should have made this the medium question. It is special for holding great mineral deposits.
Yes!
Not unlike the vibranium you see in the movie.
Yes! Oh, yeah!
And with that, Ryan takes the lead. I believe now Ryan, until we get our bonus questions, sits at 18, and I'm at 16.
Yes! Aha! Oh, logic, baby, logic.
Congrats on that one. Robbie, do you have any bonus questions for us this week?
I do have one.
Okay.
So this is a comic book Black Panther. Which character or characters did Black Panther actually make his Marvel comic debut with?
Oh, I think I might know this one. But, Ryan, am I allowed to go first?
Yeah, no, you go first.
Alright. I believe it was the Fantastic Four.
Ryan, do you agree?
Who else would it I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
I'm going to say instead it was
This is a very interesting question. I do like it.
It's a really interesting question. Damn it. I don't think it was the Fantastic Four, but I don't really know who it is. I'm probably entirely wrong, and it probably was the Fantastic Four. But I'm going to. Oh, fuck me. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna guess Iron Man. I'm just gonna guess.
Okay. Aaron was actually right. It was the Fantastic
Damn.
Four in 1966.
Really?
There you go. Yep.
Way back.
Yep.
Alright.
It was actually
So how about
Fantastic Four comic. It was actually theirs. It wasn't like a team up or anything. It was actually a Fantastic Four issue.
nice?
Yeah. So fun fact.
So Ryan, how many points would you say that was worth?
Well, were we doing the thing where bonus points were, or bonus questions were 1 point, or?
We can do that if you want. Make it simple.
All right.
All right. So I'm only trailing by 1 point then.
Tight race.
We've kept it tight this whole series. We have only two more episodes to go before we conclude the Marvel countdown. I'm excited to see who wins.
Well, I mean, I would think that the well, are we doing a trivia round like on the Infinity War podcast?
I feel like we have to. I feel like there's gonna be something we can figure out.
Yeah, we can figure something out. Okay, because I was expecting it to end with Black Panther, and then
No, Ryan, I gotta torture you to the end.
Nah. Oh, all right.
All right. If you have any bonus questions you want to send to us, make sure you go to evacstation@gmail.com, Tumblr, Twitter, or Facebook. And I will ask Ryan more bonus questions. They won't be worth points because then I won't have any chance to catch up if they're all there. But it'll be fun to see what you can stump us with. So, yeah, send them in. That'll be fun. On to our last segment, the list where we determine the best Marvel movies of all time. Do I have the list from last week? Because I just need to copy, paste, and then send it again. But
I'm
we determined...
looking at it.
Oh, here we go. Yep. And then if I remember correctly, we put... where's my list at? There it is. We put Spider-Man right below Iron Man as number 7, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, gentlemen... let me tell everyone else real quick. So our number 1 right now is still Guardians of the Galaxy holding strong. And our number... whatever the last one is, I think it's like 15, 16. That is Iron Man 3. Gentlemen... where would you put this movie on the list?
I think, me personally, I would put it... because let's see, we put Spider-Man after Iron Man. I think I'd put this above Age of Ultron after Spider-Man.
All right. Robbie or Ryan, what are you thinking?
Actually, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Robbie. I was thinking for the similar reasons why I gave what I gave Spider-Man last week. I mean, it was good, but it's not good enough to really dethrone any of the top 6. Like, I can't think of a good reason that it was better than Iron Man or more groundbreaking than Avengers or more fucking saga shattering than Doctor Strange or just like sheer as good as Civil War or Guardians. And I think Spider-Man was better. So I'm gonna say I would put it at number 8.
All right. Well, gentlemen, the contrarian is back in session.
Oh boy.
All right. So I jokingly said off podcast last week that I was going to try to push this to be number 1. I'm pretty sure I can't do that here today.
I was interested in hearing your arguments on why this shit is better than...
So the reason why I think it would rank a lot higher, not necessarily number 1, but I think it would rank higher, is because, like I said earlier, mechanically it's doing a lot of very interesting things that I think we're going to see a lot more of in future films. We have the soft reboot I've already mentioned, which I think does a lot of good things and opens up the door for a lot of more interesting stuff to happen. We have the first real Marvel team-up between two heroes from completely different things. and I know we're gonna see more of that because I think Kevin Feige even said so. And so this is a really good starting place for that. Kind of like how Winter Soldier was the first really good spot for the small team-up films. Instead of having a big Avengers team-up, it's a small team-up of like 4 or 5 people within that series. And we got a little of that here with Thor's little team of Hulk, Loki, Tessa Thompson's character, Valkyrie, and so on. So, mechanically, there's a lot of interesting things in that line of thinking. And then, of course, you also have the character growth of Thor, which I know we debated already, but I still think it's a very strong arc. And then, lastly, tying into the whole MCU mythos we always discuss, whether it's the... what am I thinking of? Whether it's the standalone film or MCU connected film, I like discussed earlier, along with Doctor Strange, it's subtle, but the whole power vacuum of Odin being gone, Thanos showing up at the end, it's a really good, very subtle way. It's not trying to advertise the other movies to an extreme extent, but it does say, hey, Odin's not here anymore, Thanos is here, things are about to get fucked. And I'm like, okay. A lot of good stuff's happening here. And I gotta give this movie credit for the whole highly improvised nature of it. Not necessarily 80%, I don't know what the actual number is, I don't think even TT knows the exact number, but the fact that it's still highly improvised and managed to pull this off very successfully, I have to admit is far more impressive than some of the films that have to have a very strict and standard script format. Not that I'm saying the scripts are unnecessary, just it's very interesting.
Scripts are unnecessary, throw it away!
To answer your question, Ryan, I don't know why it's not showing up there, but I have it as number 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense. Yeah, I was wondering that too, Ryan.
That's weird. But if I had to place it specifically anywhere, I would personally go as high as maybe just under Winter Soldier.
Really?
I wouldn't go much higher than that because I think Winter Soldier started off the whole small team-up thing first. I like it better for that. I like the change in direction and tone that one went. I think it did really good. And I think that Thor's really good. The Thor Ragnarok's really good as well. I don't think it's significantly better than Winter Soldier or Doctor Strange, though. I'd say it's in that zone.
Fight
me, boys. Fight me.
What are you thinking? Robbie, say something.
So like I was saying, Ryan, what's going to suck in post is his audio is going to have all the stuff he's saying, and we're going to have to figure out a way to edit around it.
My bad.
So
It's hilarious. It's only cutting in when we ask him to explain his position.
Okay. How about this?
It would always come back and say, guys, can you hear me now? Damn.
Okay, how about this? Ryan, why don't you rebuttal first, and then we'll try Robbie again once we figure out what's going on.
Okay. So from what I got from that is that he really enjoyed this film, but doesn't think it rates jumping a couple of the big names that we have on the list thus far, like Doctor Strange, Avengers, and Iron Man. I could see an argument being made for being better than Spider-Man. I can. And the things that you're bringing up in regards to the newer things that this movie's kind of introducing with the concept of the soft reboot, the idea of Odin being gone also creating a power vacuum. I feel like if they steered into it, if they steered into that just a little more, like the idea of like, what the hell are we gonna do now that Odin's gone, or like the like stuff like that, maybe I'd give it a little more. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it wasn't as well done as like one of the sanctums got destroyed, so the cosmic shield protecting Earth is now down. I don't think it was as well done as that. That being said, I will say that the humor is a little better than Doctor Strange in Thor Ragnarok. I can definitely give it that. But do you think it's more groundbreaking than the Avengers and Iron Man?
See, Iron Man's a tough sell just on the grounds of the fact that it's the first thing. Comparing it to Avengers, though, I don't know. I think that on some levels it is. Like I said, I think the idea of... Because here's the thing that I remember reading about from Kevin Feige, is that going forward, you're going to see less of these big Marvel Avengers team-ups, and you're going to see more of the team-up movies, like this, and perhaps like an example, I know they're not going to do a movie, but like a Heroes for Hire kind of thing. You're going to see two or three heroes teaming up to do a movie, rather than the whole gaggle of them. And I think, like I said earlier, this is a very good testing ground, a good starting place, like Winter Soldier was, to explore that concept. And I think they did a fine job with it here. Whether or not it's more groundbreaking than Avengers, it's debatable, but I think there's definitely room to talk about that.
Okay, I can give you that point. I can give you that point. I believe I made the point a few weeks ago that every movie has to try and set the bar even higher and higher. So a lot of the movies in Phase 3 are going to be these like huge movies that get towards the top of the list because they keep getting better and better and better, and they keep improving. So I could see an argument being made for it being over Avengers, but I don't feel like it's more... I don't feel like it's as impactful to the MCU as a whole as Doctor Strange.
Oh no, and I wasn't pushing for it to be that high, not by any means. I personally would put it up higher myself, but I think just above Avengers is where I would stick it at.
Robbie, do you want to give it another shot?
Pray to the...
Can you hear me?
Pray to the internet gods. Yes.
Okay. I think I see your point, Aaron. I can't put it above Avengers. I mean, Avengers was the first team-up movie. I can't do it.
Okay. How about...
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
All right. I will compromise. How about just below Avengers?
I can see that. I'll roll with that.
I can go with
All right, I think we have a consensus. So I will stick in Ragnarok. I'm just going to call it that because it's quicker to write. Right below Avengers. So now it is the new 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, number 7. Iron Man is now number 8, and Spider-Man is now number 9 because we retroactively forgot to put Winter Soldier in the list last time, which is still at number 5. I had to double check the list one more time. So that was an interesting debate. I thought it was going to be more divisive than that. Nothing's compared to Civil War yet. I'm impressed.
The Civil War was a debate.
That was a tough one.
It's a good movie.
Oh yeah. Next week we have what is considerably the most popular, certainly the most lucrative Marvel movie to date. We have The Black Panther as we head down to Wakanda to talk about probably one of the most politically interesting films as well.
Oh yeah.
Robbie, I am sorry you will not be joining us next week, but we will definitely keep you on our short list to come back as soon as possible. We had a lot of fun talking with you.
Absolutely, man. This has been so fun. Sorry about technical difficulties on my end. Aaron,
it's not your fault. Every now and again, the internet just decides.
Yeah, it just hates us, you know. Aaron, you know I always enjoyed these talks. I'm glad we got to do it in podcast form. Ryan's been an absolute pleasure getting to talk to you these last 2 weeks, and hope we get to do it again.
Absolutely, dude. You are welcome back anytime.
And I'm looking forward to listening to your guys' Black Panther conversation once you post it.
Oh,
and I'll answer the question.
Excellent. And we are looking for potential guests for Infinity War. I am reaching out to the original evac station crew first to see if any of them want to step in. But if no one in that group...
They're still alive!
They're still alive. If none of them want to step up to the plate, Robbie, we'll definitely give you a call for that short list there. So,
Absolutely, man. I'd be honored.
excellent. So Infinity War's 2 weeks away, boys. But next week's Black Panther, so we'll see you next week. But remember to go to Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and of course our email at evacstation@gmail.com to answer listener questions, to submit questions for our trivia. And if you have a favorite Marvel movie, we are going to be doing, I think, a special extra episode after Infinity War that goes over the entire MCU one last time. No rankings or anything, just kind of discussing the whole picture, talking about favorite films in general, our personal favorites, fan favorites, stuff like that. Just fun stuff in general, to relaxing conversation. So submit shit for that episode, because I want to read as many fan responses as possible for your personal favorites and why. And of course, as always, there's also a poll to vote for what we're doing after the MCU. So please make sure you vote in there for whatever types of movies you want to see, and submit any individual movies you want to see as well. Brian, have I missed anything? Have I covered it all?
No. Just direct all your hate to Aaron at evacstation@gmail.com.
My hate? What did I do this time?
This guy.
Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching wherever you found us at. And we'll see you next time after the credits.